Alright, that was my awful attempt at a power slide. Spook wackadoo back again with my big wheel setup. I really liked my USD Carbon 4s with the Kaltik Baats in the first video I did. I'm not really an urban skater, but I thought it'd be fun to try the 909s on 100mm wheels. So right off the bat I can tell that the Kaltik Baats are a lot thinner than the Ground Control Featherlight 3s. What I mean by that is the UFS bolt is kind of long and it has screwed all the way up into my boot and through it, and I can kind of feel it underneath my toes right now through my insole. So something to consider is if you don't have a varying amount of lengths of UFS bolts, you might not be able to get this frame to mount to your boot properly. I had that same issue with my Rems when I first got them. I can tell that these boots are hugging my ankles perfectly right where the cuff bolt is. Obviously these frames make the 909s so much heavier. I believe they are an aluminum frame. One thing I notice is that the lean for these boots is super supported by the cuff, and it even feels like the outside of the boot. I feel like when I'm making a turn, my foot isn't sliding one way or the other. Both my feet stay firmly planted against the sole plate. I do feel that little bit of outward flex I talked about in my shell review. It's much more pronounced on taller wheels, as you can imagine. Okay, so I found this interesting. I just rolled away from my last shot and heard this. I tightened the crap out of these, so I do not know where that's coming from. They're not holding very well, so I'm going to tighten these down and see if that comes back. Favorite part of skating is having to work on my boot. So these 180s felt pretty good. I feel like I have a lot of control over these big wheels. I was able to pick up my feet really quick and throw them back down really fast. The aluminum frame gives me a nice confident feeling that not only have I touched the ground, but I have impacted and I'm there. I can roll away from it. This first 360 I was not prepared for. I was trying to do a fakie 360 and I definitely felt some tweak on my ankle. You push these too hard and I really see how you could break an ankle or something like that. The next few 360s, I could definitely tell the issue was the weight distribution. I am used to obviously the weight of a huge fat boot like the Rems, but I'm not used to so much weight being underneath my feet. So it kind of felt like I had to get a helicopter motion going, really had to twist my torso and throw it into the spin, but it was a good learning moment. I did roll away with a decent fakie 360, so I'll take that and save some more serious stuff for when I have all my pads. Alright, so I made it over to the peninsula of cement and started doing some basic tricks like a 180 up and down and dragging my feet behind me, kind of like a porn star set slide, but just the wheels. 180s felt pretty easy still. I was able to get a good spin as long as I was off the ground first. The wheels stick out really far in front and behind on these, so while that's a nice advantage to not feeling like I'm going to topple over, it does make it a lot harder to get up and down on your toes and your heels. So the manuals are pretty hard, but they're still easy. I do think there's a fine point to find for the spins for the 360s and the 180s in the air. You gotta get your spin going well before you leave the ground. Manuals, you do have a lot of control though. When you really put your legs into it, you can control your toes and heels very, very well. And I think that's because of the fitment of these boots for me. Here I'm doing some power transfer testing, just trying to throw down and see how fast I can get up this little hill. Nothing serious, but the boot really does help you push right onto the earth and move forward. Here I try to do a fakie hill bomb. I don't fakie anything, so this was immensely fast for me, but it felt great. I had a lot of control. I felt like I could point the direction I wanted to go, and I even was able to 180 out, and that felt great too. Very confident about that. Here I'm just kind of messing around with my feet, just trying to see how fast I can kick, how nimble they are, and how much of a jump I can really get. It was very, very hard. Pushing the weight against the rock and then leaving again with that weight was immensely challenging. Here I'm trying to do 1 foot manual, see how far I can get. The first attempt I got pretty far, almost 3/4 of the way, but I started to veer off to the right and I could not contort my torso back. Here I try to grab the frame while doing a 1 foot manual, and that was very, very hard. And then here I do it a second time and I'm able to get it right away. I do go off to the right there, but I was able to kind of lean with it and stay on my feet. And at the end here, just a sole 360 out. Stalls feel great and 360s feel great. Bam, boot. So I really do like this boot for not only aggressive but for urban, and I'm really excited to see what that means for my ability to make it throughout town and find spots and then just quick swap out. I'm very interested in the Them 80s sole plate frame, so we'll see what comes next for urban skating. I need to learn better spins, and I need to learn how to stop properly. But other than that, I think I'm on my way to learning the wizard skate would be my goal, so we'll see one day. Kaltik Baats are awesome. 100mm wheels are awesome. If you haven't had a chance to try it out, do yourself a favor and do it. All right, peace, Bladerinos.